A very ordinary Thursday in March, 9:47 a.m. You are sitting in a cheap, peeling plastic chair. You're wearing a faded gray t-shirt and a pair of old jeans. All around you is the monotonous, mechanical hum of washing machines. Suddenly, the screen of the old iPhone in your hand lights up. An email notification. Sender, Victor, your accountant. Subject line, Portfolio Summary Q1. You unlock the screen. Inside the email, there are no greetings, no formalities, just a single line of text. Total funds managed, $500 million. Status? Confirmed. $500 million. There are no congratulations in Victor's email. You read the email, you lock the phone with absolutely zero emotion. Then you place the phone face down on the empty plastic chair next to you. There's no joy in your eyes, no excitement. There is only an absolute crushing emptiness. You look around. You are sitting in an old, damp coin laundromat at the corner of Meridian and Fifth Avenue. Right in front of you, in row 2, machine number 7, your dirty clothes are spinning in the wash. Standing behind the counter is Doris. Doris is the elderly attendant at this laundromat. She's been working in this exact same spot for the last 11 years. Every Thursday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., she is right here. At exactly 12:15 p.m., she eats the cold lunch she brought from home in a plastic container. And on the portable radio sitting on her counter, it's always playing the 60s oldie station. Doris knows you very well. She knows that you come in here every single Thursday at exactly 8:30 a.m. She also knows that you always use machine number 7 because the spin cycle on that specific machine works the best. Doris thinks you probably work some ordinary, low-level commercial real estate job in a downtown office. But what Doris doesn't know is that if you wanted to, right this second, with the money in your pocket, you could buy half of this entire city in straight cash. If you wanted to, you could buy a private jet this afternoon and fly to Italy just for dinner. But you won't do any of that. You have $500 million, but you cannot spend it. You can't tell a single soul on earth about this money. You have, quite literally, turned into an invisible man, a ghost. There's still 20 minutes left on machine number 7 cycle. You look out the window. Parked across the street is your car. Your car isn't a Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Mercedes-Benz. It is a gray 2020 Chevy Equinox. The odometer shows 71,000 miles. There's a pretty massive dent on the rear passenger door. That dent happened in 2023 from a shopping cart hitting it in the parking lot of a cheap grocery store. As a guy with $500 million, you could have rolled the most expensive car in the world out of a showroom on a second's notice. But for the last 3 years, you never fixed that dent. Because that dented door is an investment for you. It is your absolute biggest shield. When your laundry's done, you drive back to your apartment. A clean, minimal, but very ordinary 3rd-floor apartment in the city. There's no expensive furniture inside, no artwork, just a home of a successful but perfectly average professional. The lease agreement in your name is 100% real. You pay your rent like clockwork on the 1st of every month. But that older guy named Dennis, living in the apartment right next door to yours, has no idea that for the last 7 years, you are actually the owner of this entire 22-unit building. Your identity is buried inside an LLC 3 layers deep in trust funds, in such a way that even an expert investigator searched Google 1,000 times, they would never find your real name. Last year, water was leaking from his bathroom ceiling. He knocked on your door all stressed out at 9:45 p.m. You looked at him with a completely normal face and said, "Don't worry, I'm texting the property manager right now." The next morning at 7:30 a.m., a plumber showed up and fixed everything. Dennis left you a voicemail thanking you. He will never, ever know that you, as the owner, personally called the plumber and paid the entire bill. This double life, this disguise, it's not some psychopathic hobby. It's a survival mechanism, a fight to stay alive. Because you know extremely well that when people smell money, they turn into monsters. And you know exactly how you built this massive empire. It all started just a few years ago. You were only 25 years old. You were working at a telecom equipment distribution company. Your salary was just $42,000 a year. Life was very ordinary and incredibly boring. A 9-to-5 grind, paying bills at the end of the month, and drinking cheap beer on the weekends. A bone-chillingly cold night in November. A desolate gas station off Route 9 in Indianapolis. Your rear tire was low on air. You pulled up your car in front of a coin-operated air machine in the corner of the gas station. You took the last $1 coin you had in your pocket and slid it into the machine slot. The machine made a mechanical clunk and swallowed your coin, but no air came out. You kicked the machine a few times. Nothing happened. You got incredibly annoyed, shivering in the cold, and walked inside the gas station. You complained to the cashier sitting at the counter, "Your air machine just ate my dollar and it's not working." The cashier gave you an annoyed look. He shrugged his shoulders and dropped an incredibly simple line. "Look, man, I don't own it. Some company does. Call the number on the sticker." Normally, when people hear that, they curse and walk away. But you just walked away in absolute silence. That night, you sat down at the beat-up kitchen table in your small apartment. You opened your laptop and researched for 4 straight hours. You found out that the gas station owner didn't buy that machine. Some third party bought the machine, placed it there, and gives a percentage of the revenue to the gas station. The next morning, you looked up 3 air machine operators on the internet and called them. The first 2 didn't answer, but the third guy picked up. He talked to you for exactly 12 minutes, and in those 12 minutes, you completely understood the entire architecture of this revenue share business model. By the end of that first month, using some saved-up cash, you placed 2, then 3, then 4 machines at different gas stations. After all the maintenance costs and the gas stations cut in that first month, your net profit was exactly $310. $310 sounds pretty embarrassing, doesn't it? But to you, that $310 was the biggest turning point of your entire life, because you didn't physically work to earn that money. That money was generated by your system while you were asleep. Within the next 7 months, your machine count went up to 11. Your system kept expanding. You saved up the money from those coin machines and bought a small duplex. From the duplex's cash flow, you bought a 12-unit building, then a commercial strip, then a self-service laundromat. You did the math and saw that an ordinary laundromat does $9,000 in revenue a month and pockets a net profit of $6,500 after all expenses, without having to talk to a single human being. After that, your hunger kept growing. You bought a 40-year-old commercial cleaning company from a 66-year-old man named Darnell. You closed that deal in just 18 days. Then you acquired a medical billing operation from a 69-year-old man named Harold. Today, at this exact moment, your portfolio has a total of 31 boring businesses spread across the U.S. You have a 47-unit apartment complex in Columbus that automatically collects $84,000 a month into your account. You have a massive highway billboard in Phoenix, which generates $74,000 a month for you. Aside from that, you have parking structures in 4 different cities, self-storage facilities, and the regional pest control business running. Not a single one of these 31 businesses has an Instagram account. There are no glamorous pitch decks made for Silicon Valley investors. Nobody at any party ever asks you what you do for a living. You are quite literally a ghost inside the system. Now, let's take a quick break for a second. Scroll down to the comments section and let me know which US state or which other country in the world are you watching this video from. I'm going to highlight your screenshots in the next video, so drop your location right now. And of course, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Money is a very weird paradox. Ordinary people think that if you have millions in your pocket, all your problems will be solved. You'll be able to help everybody. You'll become a hero. But your reality is the exact opposite. You learned a massive lesson from a mistake in your own life. A few years ago, you funded a very close friend without even thinking. You thought that giving him money would change his life. But what was the result? Within just 16 months, all the money Deb gave him was completely gone. He couldn't build any business, and along with that, your beautiful friendship was completely destroyed. From that incident, you accepted a terrifying truth. Money without readiness doesn't build anything. It accelerates whatever is already there. And that is exactly why you have permanently hidden this $500 million truth from your family, your elderly parents, and your old college friends. But this has turned into a curse for you. Sometimes you sit at the dinner table with the people closest to you. You listen quietly as they stress out and struggle over their credit card bills, mortgage payments, or a small medical loan. If you wanted to, with just a single text message from your phone, you could solve all of their financial problems in a single second. But you don't do that. You just sit there in silence and watch. You just watch. Are you cruel? Are you heartless? No. You are a realist. You know that the day they find out you have money, the expression on their faces will change forever. A silent recalibration will begin in the relationship. They won't look at you as a friend or a brother anymore. They will look at you like a human ATM machine. The biggest example of this is Terrence. Terrence is your closest friend. He runs a small construction crew. For the last 4 years, he's been stuck at the exact same level. Terrence isn't lazy. He's hardworking, but he has no capital. One day, Terrence brings you a life-changing deal. A small commercial building. The price is $250,000. Terrence's entire life savings was only $20,000, but to close the building, he needed $80,000 more. His funding gap was exactly $60,000. Terrence asks you for help. You have $500 million. $60,000 is literally nothing to you. You could have pulled out your checkbook and given him the money right then and there. But did you write that check? No, you didn't give Terrence a single dime. Instead, what you did was, for the next 6 Saturdays, you gave up your weekends and sat at Terrence's kitchen table. You explained deal structures to him. You taught him how to analyze lease comps. You held his hand and taught him everything: how to talk to community lenders, how to plan exit scenarios. 7 weeks later, Terrence secured the financing himself from a commercial institution. He closed on the building. He got the deal done on his own merit. That night, Terrence sends you a text message. "Bro, I have no idea how you know all this stuff. You're a weird man." You just reply, "Yeah." 6 weeks later, Terrence calls you again. He tells you that he ran the exit scenarios 3 times before signing the papers, exactly like you taught him. He laughs and says, "I feel like I've just been buying lottery tickets my whole life. This is the first time I actually bought a real business." You hang up the phone. You let out a deep sigh. You know that if you had just handed him that $60,000 check that day, Terrence might have gotten the building, but he would have been stuck with that exact same mentality forever. You didn't give him money. You taught him the system. Very few people are allowed to enter this isolated, silent empire of yours. Your team basically consists of just one guy, your accountant, Victor Precise. You've been working with Victor for 6 years. He's an incredibly disciplined man. One time, after reviewing your entire portfolio, Victor made a very strange comment. He said, "Your portfolio is aggressively ordinary." Victor meant it as a criticism in a negative way. But you didn't laugh when you heard that, and you didn't get mad either. You told Victor to write that down in his notes. Victor didn't write it. And in that exact moment, you realize Victor was the perfect guy to keep the books for your empire. Because he doesn't understand emotion. He only understands math. Victor never uses an exclamation point in any of his emails. Your brain is always ready for the next move. There's a small black notebook sitting on your desk. On the very first page of that notebook, there's a name written. Gerald, age 63. Gerald has been running a regional HVAC company out in the Midwest for the last 19 years. 4 days ago, you notice on LinkedIn, Gerald changed his headline to "Exploring What Comes Next." You've written down in your notebook that you will be speaking with Gerald within the next 4 weeks. Gerald doesn't even know that the fate of his company has already been written. You are going to buy his company, and he will think he's just selling it to some very ordinary investor. While other billionaires stand on their penthouse balconies in London, New York, or Dubai drinking champagne, celebrating their success, And you're sitting in that old, damp laundromat at the corner of Meridian and Fifth, with a $500 million bank statement sitting in your hoodie pocket. Standing at the counter right in front of you, Doris is folding someone's left-behind old shirt. Doris looks at you and gives a little smile. Doris thinks you're just a struggling, hard-working guy who comes in to wash his own clothes. Doris has no idea that for the last 4 years, she's been working inside a building that you own. Doris doesn't know that the parking lot she walks 2 blocks across every single morning to get to work funnels exactly $5,800 a month straight into your account. Doris doesn't know that the dry cleaners right next door to the laundromat is something you bought in pure cash back in 2021. Even the ATM machine that Doris withdraws her paycheck from every Friday after work, you are the owner of that ATM machine too. She knows absolutely nothing. Nobody in this entire city knows anything. The spin cycle on machine number 7 finishes. A loud, harsh buzzer goes off. Doris walks over, pats her hand twice on top of your dryer and says, "How are you doing? Everything all right?" You look her in the eyes. A strange, hollow emptiness echoes inside your chest. There is no ego. There is no peace or relief. You just give a calm, emotionless smile and say, "Yes, Doris, everything is all right." You start pulling your clothes out of the dryer. You're holding a cheap cup of instant noodles in your hand. You realize that you have built a life that no human being on earth will ever see. You are the emperor of an invisible empire. And this silence is your absolute greatest strength, and at the exact same time, the greatest curse of your life. You have $500 million, and absolutely nobody knows.